Today, I want to talk about the mental suffering, the emotional suffering, and the spiritual suffering that happen to every human being. And particularly, I want to focus the talk on how this suffering related to our work as activists and how this suffering it affects the activism. I have discovered the way the Tibetan Buddhism explain about how the minds work and what causes our mental suffering and spiritual suffering, and how we can find a way to reduce it, to prevent it, or to end it. The way the Tibetan Buddhism talk about our mind is very interesting. They said that every human being, regardless of age, gender, the color of skin, the physical appearance, or regardless you are religious or not, that all human beings are born with a mind like the clear blue sky. And the clear blue sky represents the mind that is fresh, that is happy, that is light, that is clear, that is vast, and has strong energy because of its clarity. Very powerful. But the sky is not always clear because the sky has clouds. The clouds that are happening in our minds are thoughts and feelings. So the first group of clouds that come and obscure the clear blue sky of our mind are the memory. And most of us has memory. Especially the longer we live, and especially anyone who haven't finished working on our past, the cloud of the past will come and become the obstacle of our life, of our decision making, of our work, of any relationship we make, even with nature and with ourselves. So when talking and working with a lot of activists from all kinds of work, I have asked them what are the memory or the thing in the past that caused you emotional suffering. They will say guilt. They will say resentment, regret, sadness, and pain. And that could come from a childhood memory, come from the family, bringing out us, from colleagues, from the previous work, or from anything happened in the past, but that we don't have a clear mind or a wisdom to transform it, to work through it. So when the memory of the past comes, immediately we feel angry. We have a strong sense of resentment and guilt, particularly activists who look at the back and there are things that we get involved and we feel like we didn't do the right thing. So we carry guilt with us. And some of the activists grew up with violence. It could be in the family, it could be in the community, the church, or any place. We carry out with us trauma. And what trauma causes us is we live in pain, and some of us with grief. And grief and pain and anger and all of this still stay with us in our memory. So when the cloud of the past come into our mind, which we cannot control, sometimes it comes in the form of dreams. Then it affects our mental well-being. It affects our spiritual well-being. It affects our emotional well-being. And it affects the way we relate to work, the way we relate to people, and even to our own self, our own life, our own identity. So the cloud of the past is one. The next cloud is the future. And every human being think about the future. And particularly activists, we want to have a future, not just for ourselves. We want the future of our community, our country. But this future planning, this expectation, this dream, this hope, this anticipation can create a mental suffering. Because it can bring worry. It can bring a lot of hope. It can bring fear. It can bring uncertainty. And for some of us who have been living in war and conflict, it can bring you hopelessness and despair, even to just thinking about the future. So only two clouds. And in general, we know that these two clouds are the one affect our life the most. Then the next cloud that impact our well-being, our mind, our emotional, and our spiritual well-being is the present, which is, we call it when the gates are opening. The first gate is our eyes. And many people nowadays, the first thing when you open your eye is you check the Facebook, you check about social media, you check about the news, and immediately you got angry. Immediately you got frustrated. Immediately you have strong feeling, negative feeling. Then you hear the news, you heard people talk, So what you see, what you hear, what your body touch, the smell and the scent, and then the thought. The thought, as soon as you wake up, right? Your mind get caught in the thinking, in the thought. So again, even the present, the thought in general that we hear or we see, it can easily cause you a mental and emotional suffering that we are not aware of. So those three clouds, the cloud of the past, of the future, or on the day-to-day, anytime you wake up and you open the gate, this can cause suffering. So what kind of suffering that's going to impact our life? So when we talk with activists, they said anytime when you have a mental, emotional suffering, it affects your physical well-being. Some of us, especially the one who carry a lot of the past, we can wake up feeling chest pain, stiffness, the body, the muscle feel weak. You don't have life energy. You cannot sleep. Or you sleep too much and you still feel like you don't have enough sleep. You have difficulty constipation. You either lost your appetite, you eat too much. So all these physical symptoms that you can experience if you connect to your body on the daily basis, you can feel your heartbeat, it's fast. Even the way you breathe in and breathe out, you breathe only halfway. Those are the physical symptoms that you can feel. The next level, the next well-being is emotion. When the cloud, especially the negative thoughts, arise or come visit our mind, our clear blue sky will be obscured by strong emotion. We don't like it, we get irritated. So the emotion well-being, the symptom you can see is you don't experience joy. Even there's something right in front of you, a child is playing, and the flower, the plant, the sunlight, there are some nice thing, some beautiful thing that is around us that we can see, we can hear, but we won't hear, we won't see anything because our mind got caught in the thought, and especially the thought that bring us some emotional suffering. So we lose joy and we easily irritate by something, even irritate at ourselves or anything the friends, the colleagues say, or anything that you can hear and see from the social media. Immediately, you have strong emotion. The next level is the mental well-being, and this is a big thing. Mental well-being means the ability to think clearly, to analyze logically, to solve problems, to figure out things. So if the cloud of the past, the future, or the random thoughts of negative thoughts is taking over your mind, your clear blue sky, it affects the mental ability on the mental well-being. So many of us do not have a clear thinking. If we don't have a clear thinking, when we analyze a situation, when we want to take the next step, when we want to have a good visionary, we can't. Because our mind is full of confusion. Our mind is full of despair or anger or frustration, right? So again, the mental ability is very important for us to work for social change or social service. Any kind of work that needs good planning, that needs good strategy, demand a clear mind. The mind that vast like the blue sky, so that you can see the possibility and you can also see the limitation. Then what come out in your thinking, talking among colleagues, it's a good plan, it's a clear strategy. The next two well-being that the cloud means the negative thought about future or past or present, influence our life, our well-being is relational, meaning that it affects relationship we have with ourselves, with our colleague, with our family member, and with the non-human being. As I said earlier about nature that support us, children, anything, the beauty around us, we disconnect from everything because our mind is so infatuated with the thoughts, especially negative thought and negative emotion. Because if we don't train our mind, we think all the time, even while we're eating, while we're taking a shower. And this thought carry on even when we are sleeping. So many of us who carry a lot of responsibility, we can sleep long hours, but we woke up, we don't feel like we don't have enough sleep because this thought, this cloud in the mind continue in a dream, negative dream. So we never have enough rest. So that affect our relation to ourselves and to nature. The next one is spiritual well-being. Spiritual well-being is about the sense of inner peace, the sense of groundedness, the sense of hope, the sense of a feeling of inspiration. And this is what we need the most among activists, because this spiritual dimension as well as the mental well-being is the ground of activists and a healthy activism. Because when we commit in social activism, we're going to meet opposition. And sometimes opposition come that cost our life. It can come with brutal violence. It can come with all sorts of harming intention that can come to us personally, to our colleague, and to our movement. So the spiritual dimension well-being that I meant is really the ground to meet with fear, to meet with uncertainty, to meet with brutality. Many of us activists, particularly who live in war and conflict for a long time, we lost hope. We experience despair, uncertainty, and fear for generations. So it's very important that we take care of our spiritual well-being so that it guides us to maintain our hope, to work toward our dream, work toward the vision that we want to create for our community, for our society, for freedom, for equality, and for democracy. So again, what I like to end is taking care of our clear blue sky, because we are born with it. The clear blue sky is the state of mind and heart we need the most, daily life. Working for social justice is going to be a long struggle. But each day when we take care of our heart, our mind, our clear blue sky, each day we live in peace, we live in hope, we live in clarity, we live in a sense of peace, even though the work we do is not yet reaching the goal. But in our daily life, we already walk on it. We already walk on the path of peace, some contentment, some joy, and happiness from little things that's happened in our daily life. So take care of our blue sky.